Right. Cool. We're rocking. All right. We're live now. Cool. All right, guys. Today, Thirsty Thursday, you know how we do it here on the Throttled Roots podcast. And for today, I get excited when people kind of come and they hear about Throttled Roots and they're kind of coming at us going, we like what you do. We want to be on the podcast. We want to share our story. That means that what we're doing here is just kind of getting out there. The message is getting out there. The word is getting out there. And that's exactly what happened with the Pack Track. I was excited to get these people on the podcast. I love their story. I love what it is that they're doing. I'm a dog person. You're going to hear all about it. I'm going to let them break it down to you a little bit. I am going to bring them in right now, but get relaxed, hang out. This is what we're about to do. We're about to do our Thirsty Thursday podcast. And let me bring in the crew, the people known as the Pack Track. What's up, guys? How are you doing?
Hi, Ray. We're good.
Hi, Ray. Good. Yeah. Thanks for having us on the show.
Absolutely. I was honored and thrilled. I'm a dog person and I'm a motorcycle person. Seemed like a winning combination for me. Couldn't think of a better way. Yeah. So you guys are traveling. That is kind of what you guys are doing, right? You're traveling the world, and I'm obviously it is happening in phases. I have to be assuming, but you guys are kind of traveling the world with your dogs. From what I understand, dogs you've kind of picked up along the way, maybe, and just think, things have kind of transpired along your journey here. So let's kind of start off with who you guys are. Let's let these people know who you are and where you're at.
Where we're at. So we're in Cambodia at the moment. We're traveling around Southeast Asia. We've been traveling for 9 years now. We left Australia, 9 years ago this month. And originally the trip was going to be 2 years around the world with our dog from Australia, Skylar. But it's life on the road. It's life. So unfortunately, she passed away. She had cancer. We kind of reassessed our goals for the trip and realized we were enjoying it and decided not to hurry. And then, of course, we've picked up dogs along the way. So
I love it. Why did you go ahead?
We realized that our budget that we'd set was very realistic, and we're actually able to go a lot longer with our daily expenses that we planned for. So we thought we were really enjoying it, and we had nothing really to go back for. We'd sold everything back home in Australia, so we thought we'd just make it open-ended for now and just see what happens. And 9 years later, we would have been home probably a lot sooner if it hadn't been for COVID restrictions and everything. But here we are 9 years later, still trying to make our way back to Australia. This is the closest we've been for a long time, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Give me I have general idea, but how close and how far is Cambodia from Australia? How far are you guys?
Oh, it's still probably like Thailand's an 11-hour flight to Sydney, I think. So it's still a long way. Because Australia is so far. And that's actually the reason we decided to do the trip in one go, is because Australia is so far away. And it costs so much to get out of Australia and back into Australia. And if you've got dogs, then that definitely complicates things, because it's probably one of the hardest countries in the world to get dogs into. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. So I gotta ask then. So what was the kickoff to this then? I mean, obviously for me as a motorcycle guy, I would love to be able to travel as much as I can on my Harley. I'm keen to the Harleys, but I would love to be able to travel like you guys are. The freedom, and it's freedom, it's luxury, but it's also sacrifice. Without you guys are doing something that there is sacrifice to other means, because you're putting everything that you got into this. But what is it that kind of kicked it off? I mean, why'd you say we're going to travel the world? Where did it start?
I think it's something for both of us. It's been like travel has kind of been something that we always wanted to do. We've both had inspirational family members. I had an older sister who went traveling when she was in her early 20s, and Janelle had a grandmother who traveled around the world. So we've kind of grew up with those, or in our later childhood, very inspirational kind of people for us, and seeing them go off and do these things, or hearing their stories about it. So I know that I always wanted to go, and I tried when I turned 18, I bought a ticket to the UK and was going to go backpacking. And 6 months later, I think I was just too young. I just pretty much stayed in London, and actually, I think a lot of backpackers end up doing, and didn't see anything. And it was really, I was kind of really disheartened by it, but it kind of, I always knew I'd done it wrong, and I needed to give it another go. So I kind of always planned some longer trip. And from our first date, we were talking about traveling on our first date. So
I think the other thing as well is maybe for Australians is that you don't, because we're an island nation, you don't get that exposure to other cultures. You can't just pop across the border and go somewhere that maybe people speak a different language, and certainly when you're just living like your normal life, you often don't interact with new people very often. So traveling is such a great opportunity to really see the world and meet new people and understand and learn. So I think that's something I don't think we realized that we wanted and we needed that, but it's become very clear over the 9 years that's what's really important to us.
I love that right there. And I've experienced the island feel once really in my life. And when I say that, we went to Hawaii for a period of time for vacation, and you're right. I now obviously Australia's a lot bigger than Hawaii would be, but it's the island feel of like, you're here. You can't cross a border. You can't just jump over to another city or another town. I mean, I'm here in Southern California. You know how diverse you have an idea of how diverse it is around here. We can go to Chinatown. We can go, there's everything around here. So I understand a little bit more of the significance and the meaning, like, hey, let's go out and see, let's travel, let's get out of what our comfort zone is. Where did it kind of start then? So you leave Australia, and where's kind of the first place that you're like, this is the kind of the kickoff?
I think we were very sensible at the start of our trip. So I think that was probably more me than Stu. I think I was probably scared. And so there are a few things we had to think about. We didn't want to buy bikes in Australia and ship them, because that was initially that's a big expense right up front at the start of the trip. Yeah. So we needed to go somewhere where we could buy bikes and get the documents in our names, because we knew we needed that for border crossings. But we also needed somewhere that we felt comfortable flying our dog into. Like, we'd never done that before. We didn't know anyone who'd done that. And so we were thinking, of course, the worst of that whole process. So we picked the US, and we got a direct flight from Sydney into Dallas. And it turned out to be a really, really great decision, because the bikers straight away, we had bikers in Dallas who just just helped us, made us feel welcome, gave us lots of information. And it was, for us, I think it was if we'd gone somewhere where perhaps there'd been a language barrier, it would have been difficult. This was kind of an easy transition for us to go from Sydney to Dallas and kind of figure everything out, get the bikes, and then start traveling.
Yeah, we weren't aware that it could snow in March, though.
Yeah.
We'd never seen snow before, really.
Yeah, it can get a little chilly out there in the Texas area or any of that stuff. Yeah, it can get a little chilly out there. And Texas, actually, I don't think, have I ridden in Texas? No, I've never ridden a motorcycle. Visited, gone out there, have family that's been out there or that lives out there. And I've gone to bike events when I was out there, just to attend, to see what kind of the culture is, the lifestyle is. very welcoming, very, that Texas hospitality maybe kind of spills over even more into the biker community is already very welcoming and giving, and all that as it is. Maybe you add the Texas hospitality on it, the South hospitality, and it adds another level to it. So you start in Texas, and I guess you're right in the middle. Then you're right in the middle of the United States at that point. You can go west, you can go east. Where did you? And let me ask first of all, then, because for me, the motorcycles are like, what is it that you started this journey on? I know what you're on now, but what did you end up buying when you got over here?
Oh, so it's the same. The bikes that are parked just out there are the bikes we bought in Texas.
Oh, same bikes. Okay, wow. Now I know you guys said we're Harley, enthusiasts or people at heart and stuff. So I wasn't sure if you had bought, a Harley to kind of start your trip here, because it's 9 years now, right? You guys have been on these same bikes for 9 years.
Same bikes. Yeah.
Love it.
Very, very attached to our bikes.
I was about to say, those bikes are now, they've been places, they've got miles on them, they've got a lot of them. How many miles? We're going to obviously keep diving, but what's the odometers up on those things now?
It's over 120,000.
Good for you.
At various stages, the ABS rings or the dash is broken, and we haven't been, for quite considerable lengths of distances, we haven't been able to, it hasn't been ticking over, but they're registering 120,000 miles. I think maybe there's another 20,000 miles on each of them. So, we're quickly approaching 150,000 miles, I guess.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, I mean, a trip around the world's going to do that, I would imagine, Do you guys have a vehicle, or is everything on two wheels?
Sorry, we missed that question.
Oh, I'm sorry. You got me breaking. Yeah, I might be breaking up a little bit. Do you guys have a vehicle? Do you have a vehicle with four wheels, or is your complete mode of transportation two wheels?
Yeah. So back in Australia, when we were sort of getting close to thinking this trip might happen, we bought brand new Harleys, the Sportsters. And we thought we were going to do the trip on those, but riding them around, we quickly realized that they maybe weren't the right bike for us for this trip. But in preparation for the travel, we sold our car. We just wanted to make ourselves be just on bikes and see what that was like. If it's a rainy day and you have to get on the bike, how do you feel about that? Or if I have to take the dog to the vet or take my dog to my mum's place, I'm taking her on the bike. What is that going to be like? And we liked it. So the only time we've had a car on the whole trip is we've hired cars a couple of times, but we during COVID we were in Bulgaria, and we wanted to head over towards Turkey, but we realized this is 2020, end of 2020, early 21. Yeah. We realized that things just weren't going to change. We couldn't. And it was winter. So we parked our bikes up in someone's yard, and we bought a car. And then we went to the UK to work, to wait and see what happened, see if things would open up over summer, and maybe we could. But that's the only time we've not had the bikes with us. Yeah. Unless they've been shipping.
When they've been shipping. So just recently we shipped the bikes to Thailand, and we used that opportunity to go to Vietnam because it's very difficult. You can do it, but you need a guide, and it's daily expenses. You'll run into the thousands to take a motorbike, a foreign bike, into Vietnam. So we decided that it was a good opportunity for us to go there while we're waiting for the bikes to ship to Thailand, to see it as backpackers. So we flew in, and we took a couple of flights and some buses and trains, and we realized quite quickly that our bikes are awesome because they make life so much easier for transporting stuff around. Trying to move 3 dogs around on public transport and flights, and it was a nightmare.
We really built up our muscles though.
Yeah. It was a different experience. So it was,
I can relate a little bit, not to the animal aspect. I have 2 dogs myself, but I traveled with I have 2 young kids and I have an older one, but traveling with kids, boy, that's an experience. I'd imagine, a dog is relying on you to move it, carry it, tell it to go over here. It's probably a similar type of experience with the stuff. I got to pack a stroller and it's a effort, man, to move with children. And really, our animals, I love my dogs. I mean, I have a big 80-pound boxer and a little 5-pound chihuahua, and I love those dogs to death. They are my kids. They are my fur family. Like I will lay down for those dogs. It's amazing how connected we become with our animals. They are just they love you unconditionally. They adapt to a lot of different environments that they, as long as they kind of have us around, like they know, like, oh, there's my human, there's my person. They are a happy breed. I love dog. What type of dogs are you guys moving around?
Well, is this? Yeah, so we've got something a little bit like your Chihuahua. We've got a tiny little one. She's
let me see if I can actually pull up a picture.
4.5, 4 kilos. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead. I'm listening to you. I wanted to see if I can pull up a picture here on your Instagram, so we can maybe see if we
on Instagram. There's a few pictures. Here we go. So that's our tiny one, and she's been with us for 7 years, but we think she's about 11 years old. We picked her up in Colombia.
Am I looking at the right? Who is? Am I?
Yes, that's her. That's Shadow. Okay. And that is a perfect quote to go with her, because she's the little love bug in our family. Like she loves everyone. She loves everything. She's a very happy little girl. So we think she's about 11 years old. Then we've got Wheatie. We've had for almost a year longer than Shadow. We picked Wheatie up in Venezuela. She's black and white. She's got a white stripe down her nose.
Let me see if I can find her really quick.
She's about 10 years old.
Let's see. Are you seeing the screen here right now?
Yeah,
is this her?
No, that's not ours. That's a friend's biker dog. That's actually a Thai biker dog. Keep going. Oh, she's.
I think at the top there was one. Ooh.
Let's see.
Oh wait. Oh, look further down. Oh, yeah.
There. Here, on you. Yeah, just.
There's a head. No, up in the video.
Up. It's a video. Yeah.
Yeah. This one you can. There she is. That's Sweetie.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty cool. This is actually how you guys. This is actual footage of them riding and moving along with you. Then this is really cool right here.
Yeah. So Wheatie's a little bit disabled. Her back legs aren't very good. So like the motorbike's perfect for her, because she can't walk very far, but she loves to be out and about. And then just recently, a year ago, just over, yeah, we've got Azra Kadabra. There she is.
Yeah.
Is this her here?
Yeah, she's the puppy. She's not quite 18 months. She's been probably the biggest challenge of our entire journey.
The baby.
Having a puppy. Neither of us had ever really had puppies before, and we found her in Turkey on the road. She was so tiny, and we decided to keep her. But very quickly, we had these moments where we were like, oh my God, what have we done? What do we do with a puppy? How do you talk to a puppy, and how do you teach a puppy? And we're on YouTube constantly watching videos and trying not to screw her up, because the other two just came. They were perfect.
Yeah.
It's actually, I was watching this video right here. I'm so curious. Like, how do you they look very at ease. They look very just kind of, they like anybody, like a normal passenger on a motorcycle would kind of sit back there. They look like they're having a grand time. You guys have a little like door open for them. They got their heads out. They're poking around. Like they look very comfortable, like sitting on the bike. And did that take a period of time to get them accustomed to it, or that naturally did they just kind of gravitate towards it?
No, we really didn't even give them much choice because we picked them up while we were traveling. I mean, with Shadow in particular, we found her. She was hit by a car, and we pulled over, ran back, and picked her up. We were in the middle of nowhere in Colombia, and we tried to find a local vet, but it was about 6 o'clock in the evening, so everything was closed. And we were 3 hours out of Bogota where we had a hotel booked. So she just went in the pillion pooch with Weedy. I zipped everything up. And so that she couldn't get out because I didn't have a harness for her or any way of attaching her. The only way I could keep her in there was to zip everything up. And we rode 3 hours. So she just got thrown straight in there. She had her eye bulging out. We took her to the vet the very next day, and she had surgery. And then actually like about 3 or 4 days later, we were on a plane to Florida. So she really just got thrown in the deep end.
We always said that, you know, if at any point any of our dogs, for whatever reason, decide they don't want to ride anymore, then we would stop what we're doing. Absolutely, because we're never going to give them up, and they're more important. But I think we've just been really lucky that they do all really enjoy it. We don't push them. We don't do big days. There's lots of breaks. We try to keep it fun for them as well as us.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is that was something I was curious about? Is kind of how often, you know, because dogs got to go to the bathroom and dogs got to, dogs got to do certain things. You know, we might be able to hold our stuff longer than maybe a dog can. So I would imagine that, yeah, you need to get out, let them out. Like if you're traveling with a dog in a car, yeah, you got to get off at a pit stop or, a somewhere to be able to let them out and do their business. So I'd imagine that, yeah, it absolutely is entailed in part of your traveling, and you have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. I had a question actually about the, I'm going to pull them back up. Actually, let me see if I can, the packs themselves, like these right here, like, how did you, are these something that you guys kind of, obviously they're branded a little bit with what you guys are doing, but is this something that is like out there for other people to use maybe for their dogs? Did you guys kind of come up with this? How does this work here?
Yeah, so this is something we designed this 10 years ago. Before we were writing a little bit with it in Australia, but we just kind of, we mocked up something at home with toilet rolls and coat hangers and this metal tray we had, and we went to a metal workshop and said, can you make this more durable? And they came up with something brilliant. So we traveled with that for about 5 years, I guess.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years at least. And we were just constantly being contacted by people about where to get them or how to do it. So we just told them what we'd done and just to go to a metal workshop. But eventually we thought, well, we'll try and make a business out of it. So I used YouTube and learned how to use CAD and drew up some designs, sent it off to some manufacturers, and yeah, now we've got stock of them. So we created a website and a business and sell them now. So yeah, it's been a little bit of it's kind of a trickle income for us, but we're making a reasonable amount of sales every year with them. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to become creative when you're on the road for 9 years. You know, the original money does sort of eventually run out, and then you have to find other ways of funding it if that's what you want to do. You want to keep going. So, yeah.
This was a good way. I'd imagine, like, I mean, it looks like structurally sound. It obviously, you guys are putting miles, you're on dirt roads. Like in this picture here, you guys are going to some maybe more desolate areas. It's not just kind of freeway or dirt, road riding. And I'd imagine, you're doing highway speeds at times. This is something that has to kind of keep up with the wind and, like take a beating a little bit of it, like when you're riding 70 miles an hour or 60 miles an hour on a freeway, things get beat up. My flannels and my shirts get beat up from just flapping in the wind, So this thing, what's it made out of actually? Is it like a canvas on the outside of it?
Yeah, it's a cover, but it's a full roll cage. We lowered a Land Rover onto it, and it held the weight. So we designed it. We well over engineered it, but we wanted it to be something seriously strong.
Yeah. So the cover, which is all you really see, that's the same kind of material they use on the side of trucks. That's that PVC. It's like super strong stuff. And it's got like, you can see like there's a little zip and there's ventilation points. But underneath that is what you can't see because it just looks like a tent. What you can't see are the aluminium bars, and there's like a plastic tub that the bars connect through to a metal base to like make it super strong.
Yeah. That's really cool. I mean, it's I was curious about it. I saw it. Obviously, you guys, and they have room to stand up, move around. It looks like a pretty good sized unit for them to be able to sit down or hang out comfortably.
It's good. It's good for our size dogs. It's for small to medium sized dogs.
Skylar, the dog we traveled with from Australia, the size was designed around her. So she was a 23 kilo pit bull. So that's pretty much the ideal size. But we had 2 dogs in there.
But now we have our 4 kilo dog in there.
So a little bit of like where you guys like maybe some of your more favorite places that you've kind of have visited. I mean, how far, I guess, how much further maybe do you have to go? But what are some of the places that you've kind of been to where you're like, that was a bucket list, or it was just like, that was a place I like to see?
People ask us this question a lot. It's a really hard question to answer. So we've been to 107 countries now with the bikes and the dogs. So, I mean, we did a little bit of traveling before, but not much. We don't include that in that count. But the thing is, when you think about that question, it's like, well, there's countries that are great for riding because we love to ride. Like we're motorcycle enthusiasts. And then there's countries that are great with dogs. Like you can go on cable cars and you can go on buses and trams, and getting around with dogs and staying in hotels is really easy. Luxembourg. Yeah. That was amazing for traveling with dogs. So pet friendly. Tiny country and very cheap fuel, which is also an advantage. But I think Mexico's always been up there for us because it was our first country. We went from Texas into Mexico, and it was, wow, our mind was blown. It was so different to anywhere we'd been. Such great motorcycle community, plenty of pet lovers, and just a lively, loud, colorful country, you know.
And the food,
they love football. So Mexico's always been up there. Turkey, since we've been there, has always now been up there for us. We really enjoyed it. And then there's Mongolia, which is just like so different to anywhere else. And we definitely didn't get enough time in Mongolia. Yeah. We want to go back.
But
go ahead.
I just, as far as really, I don't know, kind of amazing places that we've been to this year, or last year now, sorry, we crossed Iraq. So that was just such a, I don't know how to explain
it was a big surprise.
Yeah.
We were really scared about going there, and it was just, yeah.
Yeah, we went in and we were just trying to get to Jordan. We wanted to go to Petra and then make our way down to Saudi Arabia. And we just thought it was just somewhere where we were going to cross and just do it as quickly as possible because of all the dangers. But it's people just took us into their homes, and the biker community. We went to this bike event just outside Baghdad. There was 900 bikes there, and they brought us in as guests of honor, and just really, really looked after us.
Yeah.
And then we went and stayed in one of the bikers' homes for a few nights before we crossed over to Jordan. But the crossing experience was amazing. You've got to cross the Syrian desert, about 450 kilometers, and you have to do it in a day. You cannot stop on that route because at night time it's handed over. ISIS is still active out there, and the military, they patrol during the day, and we were escorted by military. But at night time, they will go home and just pretty much hand it back over because they can't patrol it at night time. It's just too dangerous. And then we went through Jordan, had a great time there for about a month, and we tried to go to Saudi Arabia, and they're very strict on pets. There's a pet permit that we needed to get into Saudi Arabia, and we didn't have it. So we tried to get it at the border, but there were issues because it was during Ramadan, and it was just coming towards the end, and everyone was going on holiday. So getting anything done in Saudi Arabia that time of year through government agencies was just near impossible. So then we just rushed it back across Jordan as quickly as we could while our visa was still good, and back into Iraq. So we did it a second time. But we actually were really excited about going back because we made all these friends, and we went straight back to staying with them. And again, we bounced through different chapters of the Iraq Bikers, which is the bike club there, and they all looked after us. And we moved our way back up to Turkey, and it was spectacular, really spectacular experience.
We're really lucky because the pet community, like the people who love dogs and people who love bikes, are two really passionate groups. And we get to kind of be in both of those worlds, which is nice. Yeah.
I'd imagine. Yeah, that's a comforting group. I would imagine to be in. I am just I'm on this side of it, kind of I'll be honest, a little bit in awe. Like, I love to cross state lines. Like, I'm here in the United States. I'm here based in Southern California, and I have beautiful riding in my neck of the woods in Southern California. I have hills, I have beaches, I have the desert, just a couple. I have everything within a shot away from me. But there's nothing more that I like doing than going on a long distance or just crossing state lines. There's something about that just like that's my like chi, I guess. I don't know. That's where I just feel most like in my zone and most connected with my motorcycle. And then to hear you talking about crossing I pulled it up right now. I was gonna pull it back up on the screen because I was like, holy cow, you said 107. Obviously, this might be a little late to the party, but this is a video of you at 101 countries right here, which is in Mongolia. And I was looking at this video going, look at this. This is just, it's kind of, I don't know, obviously, the territory, but look at, you're kind of to me, it looks like you're in the sticks. Like, you're just out there. Like, you're just, this looks like I recently did a 1K in a day, and I rode around the route that I did. It went around Area 51. And it was in the sticks. It was in the middle of nothing. And that's what it looks like here. But I'm just in awe of, like, you're crossing countries and you're like, I'm 107 countries is what you're up to now, which is amazing. Is there like a number? Like when you say travel the world, is the goal to hit every country? That's the ultimate goal here, or what's the end game?
No. And I think I don't think that's a good attitude to have when you're traveling either. I think it needs to be you kind of you need to drop your routines and drop all your expectations and learn to just kind of go with where the road is sending you. And when you do that, the travel becomes really exciting and fun. When you're like, I need to go here and I need to see that building and I need to be up at 7 and on the road and I have, all these rules, you don't give yourself the opportunity to have an adventure, I think. So,
we tried that right at the start. We tried to be up at 6 o'clock and out, and
we had a route.
We were trying to do 800 kilometers a day. We were really, it wasn't fun.
No, it wasn't. And we argued all the time.
We nearly had a divorce in the first week. We quickly stopped doing that because it's just not fun. And what's the point of doing it if it's not fun?
And now, actually, so we got comms, which comms in the helmets, which I really recommend if you are riding with other people. They're great. You can tap off if you want, listen to music, but we often pack up and we get on the road, and then we start talking about where we might want to go or what we might want to do that day. Do we feel like just riding? Do we not feel like our bum sore from being on the bikes a few days? Do we need a bit of a break? Yeah.
No, that's a perfect advice, Janelle. Like, I'm with you on that philosophy and that kind of way. There's certain days where I know I'm going to go maybe hang out with the fellas or something, or I'm going to go to the local watering hole or something. And that's the destination for the day. I'm going here and I'm going there. But there's other days where, I might start there, but I really have no destination in mind. I really have no route. I really don't have a place, that I know that I want to go to or need to be. And those are the rides that are just like the best ones. Because there's not an agenda, there's no timeline, there's everything that you said eliminated from that. And the response usually is, when I'm on those type of days, like, where are you going? wherever the front wheel points me. I'm going to turn left here. I'm going to turn right there. And if you have the ability, the flexibility to be able to enjoy your ride like that, not everybody does or can for every single ride, but that is a certain level of, I want to say, like, euphoria when it comes to people on motorcycles, because that is the kind of the epitome. That is the like top of the food chain when it comes to the freedom of what being on a motorcycle really means. It's just go and explore and go and do what you're going to do. So no time limits, no destination, no got to get here, got to get there. The way you guys are doing it, I would agree. And you're right. I could see why it would cause some arguments in the beginning.
Yeah.
So what is kind of like the next, is there, I wouldn't say like we said, there's no end game or anything like that, but is the plan to return back to Australia within, some point, or are you just kind of letting the travels take you where you be and then land where you land when you're done?
Yeah, now we've for the last 6 months we have been we've been ending the trip. We're making our way back to Australia somehow. Things have changed. We would have been heading back in May, but Australia changed their rules in January on pets importing into Australia. And now coming from Southeast Asia isn't an option directly. We have to go somewhere to one of the approved countries for 6 months. So approved countries are Japan, South Korea, USA, and Canada. There's a few there is Singapore, but most of the ones in Asia are expensive countries to be staying in for 6 months. So we're now looking at going over to North America for the next 6 months to see out that kind of quarantine period before we'll be eligible for getting to Australia. And then we will be going back to Australia. So we want to finish our trip though with a tour around Australia.
We've never, when we had bikes in Australia, we didn't know about clubs, and we just we more rode them as transport. We knew we liked them. I probably did more trips on my bike than Stu ever did. You really just used it for getting to work. Yeah. I did a few kind of trips on mine, but so we've never ridden around Australia. So it's going to be a really fun way to kind of finish this adventure.
Yeah.
This adventure, we don't know what the next one will be.
Of course. I gotta ask, like, what type of feeling does it give you? Does it give you a feeling of like, oh, we accomplished this, we did it? Or is it kind of like a somber, like, oh, it's kind of coming to an end, this chapter's coming into an end? What does it make you feel, kind of knowing that you're not ending anything, but you're heading back home?
There's a bit of excitement about it, really. It's kind of moving on to the next stage. I think if we finished it without having achieved what we wanted to achieve, then we'd feel a little bit bummed about it. But we've done everything that we wanted to do. So we're
really happy with what we've done.
We're really happy with what we've done there. There are a few other places, but you have to leave some places because then you've got places to go back to. So you've got another trip to plan. I'm actually excited about the prospects of what we can get up to next, what we can do next. And I think we're not going, it's not like we're going back to Australia and we've got a house that we're going back to and jobs we're going back to. We don't have any of that. So it is an adventure going back to Australia for us. We've got traveling around the country to look forward to first. And then, we've changed so much over the 9 years, and we've learnt so much as well. The new skills we've got, we want to do something with that. So that's what we need to kind of figure out. How to keep life exciting and interesting after this trip.
Yeah, totally understood. It's you're going back to a place. Are you guys going back to the same city, same region that you guys were in before? Or because if not, that's a whole, you're starting, you can say safely, you're starting over. You got rid of everything. You sold it to go and do the life and live the life that you're living. So yeah, you're basically going back to like, or not going back. You are going back to a place you're familiar with, but starting afresh.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. And I think some people sort of wonder. We were talking when we crossed the border into Laos the other day. I was talking to a young Israeli guy, and he was saying, he was like, "Why would you try to end the trip? Why don't you try to keep going?" I suppose it's a little bit more complicated for us. Like Wheatie, our biggest dog, she's now, yeah, she's 10, 11. We can see such a change in her over the years as well. I think we feel like she needs she probably needs a bit more of a stable environment. Maybe, yeah,
she needs a retirement. I think
she needs a retirement. Yes, she's been amazing. She's been the best biker companion. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do for your fur family, right? There's unconditional love, and when they when you know when they need something, or you're like what their best interest is, and it sounds like that's the direction. And then you, like you said, you start your new adventure. You start planning the new adventure in life. You know, I love it. I mean, I love what you guys are doing. I wish I had, not I wish, I love what I do and I love my life and everything, but you know, the flexibility, the you know, to be able to get on my bike as much and ride it as much as you guys. I love riding anything on two wheels, but that is something that I have just thought about, like, man, I would love to just go, for me, because everybody's situation is different. But for me, I'd love to be able just to be out on the road for like a month, 2 months, and just go and just ride. And even if it's just meaning for me, for like the United States, like just riding around the United States for a month or two. There's so much stuff to see out there. And on two wheels, it's really a different experience. You could smell, you can feel different temperatures when you're riding. It's just a different, it all the senses are just like heightened when you're doing it. And when you're doing it with your dog, I'd love to have my dog. One time I just stuck my little dog in my vest to like go down the street, and I thought it was the coolest thing. So for you guys to be traveling with two of them is really cool.
We love to see, I mean, everywhere we go, people smile. They can't help it. A lot of people laugh even when we go past. If we're going slowly and they really get a look at the dogs on the roads. Yeah, people are waving at us, and it's so nice to bring a little smile to people everywhere we go.
I'd imagine so. Where are you guys actually planning? So when is the maybe the D part? When is that something on like on the plate of like, because it sounds like Australia has some pretty strict quarantine type of things that you guys have to deal with. So if you're coming to the United States, when do you think that may be happening? And do you guys have a place where you think you're going to go and land for a little bit for that quarantine period?
Yeah, it'll probably be April or early May that we leave Southeast Asia. We're just trying to line things up at the moment. And my brother lives in Canada, so in just between Ottawa and Toronto. So he's invited us to stay with him for 6 months. So that's where we will be based. But while we're in North America, we want to be able to get out and tour and see, go to events and just do what we do basically.
So the bikes are going to come with you over here then. You guys are still going to be moving, traveling, doing some stuff on the bikes with the dogs, and just like you are now, but you're just going to move your venture over here for the next 6 months.
Yeah,
we're actually hoping to be sitting down writing 2 books, the first 2 books about our travels. Well, we want to use that time well. So we're always thinking about our financial situation. So we're at the moment just working on a Kickstarter campaign for the first 2 books in our series. So that'll be leaving Australia and traveling through the Americas. Yeah. So that's what we're hoping to be doing. And yes, Stu's brother very kindly offered to let us sort of hang out with him. So I think we'll probably be in Canada for most of that period, but we'll see. We don't know.
I love the creativity, man. You have to, I would imagine, in your guys' situation and your, travels and stuff, that you do need to get creative with you need to fund it. You need to be able to put gas. You need to be able to feed the dogs. You need a place to put your head down. You need clothes on your back. You need, all the stuff that it takes, just cost of living. And I love the creativity, and it's the creativity to be able to fund it, but it's also like with the dog, with the cages. I don't want to call them a cage, but with the pack that your dogs travel in, to be able to sell that and offer that experience to other people. That's the creative side of it. I am sitting here picking your brain about your guys' travels and just getting the audio portion of it, talking to you now. But I can only imagine how many things you've seen with that are just in between your ears that you need to get down on paper and just jot down. And for people to be able to like read, like that's a whole nother different way of a creative aspect of being able to do this. And it's two birds with one stone. You need monetary value to be able to do what you're doing, but in the same aspect, you're going to be sharing your story and your experiences with. I know that I would sit down and read something like that. It'd be very interesting to hear and read what you guys would, how you would lay that out. So I kudos to you guys. I would love to, whenever that happens, please, or whenever it drops, I will be there waiting for a book myself.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will, are you guys going to do some traveling then in the United States then? Like when you guys are over on this side of it, or are you going to kind of maybe hunker? And I ask because I like to travel. And if I could ever like link up, if you guys are coming this way and I'm going that way, love to meet the dog, love to see the bike. By the way, I don't even think I asked, what bikes are you guys like riding on? What is this 9-year venture been on?
The BMW 650 GS. So it's a good size. It's like, well, at the time it was one of the smaller GSs, but it's good off road. It's not too heavy, so I mean, we, especially in the desert and the jungles, where we are dropping the bike a lot, and picking it up once or twice is fine, but if you're doing it 20 times a day,
so it's nice to have two people.
It's nice to not be a really heavy bike. So
and it's pretty simple. It's got, we can fix it. We can fix most things, or we can find some lovely mechanic somewhere who will help us to fix it.
So who's this? Are they both same in color? I just pulled this up. Like, this is where is this? This is on the side of the road. Are you guys doing something here? I didn't even read the caption.
This is a funny story. We made a friend in Georgia, a German guy called Ben. On Instagram, it's up and down Voyage. He's a funny guy. We'd spent some time with him in Tbilisi, and he was leaving and he was going to explore the north, and we were hanging out in Tbilisi a bit, and then we were going to Armenia. So I said, oh, well, if you're going tomorrow, we'll come for a ride with you out of the city and we'll have a coffee. This was on our way to have a coffee. We ended up going across fields, down dirt tracks, in mud, river crossings. So I'm like, where's my coffee? I just wanted a coffee, and I haven't had a coffee by this stage. So
3 till 5 p.m. It was a great day out.
Great day out.
Yeah. So Tbilisi's in Georgia.
Yeah, in Georgia. Yeah.
This is really cool. Bike. Like you got, this is your bike here, Janelle.
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah. What one of the what is probably the worst I guess mechanical failure that maybe has happened to you guys along this trip?
That's an easy one.
We had Janelle's bike a head gasket in
Namibia.
Initially in Angola.
In Angola, yeah.
So Central Africa. It's a country with that at the time was having a kind of runaway
currency.
What's it called? Inflation, runaway inflation, and getting anything from overseas was near impossible. So we needed to get a head gasket. It was the thermostat had gone, so that's why the head gasket, the engine overheated. But it was quite a serious problem for us, and we were in Portugal 6 months beforehand, and there was a big bike event there, and so we were invited along, and we gave a presentation. It was their Christmas party. Gave a presentation there, and we're invited to the event to eat and drink it for free, and just mingled with everyone. It was a really, really good event, but we made a lot of contacts there. So Angola is a ex-Portuguese colony, I believe, and there was a lot of contacts that they had in Portugal. So when we broke down, we were well out of any town. We had no idea what to do. So luckily we had our phone with credit on there, and so we just got on WhatsApp and messaged one of the contacts we had in Portugal, who had said, if you're having trouble in Angola, get in touch. So messaged him, and within half an hour or so, there's a pickup truck at our location. They're loading Janelle's bike onto the back and driving it into the nearest city. It was about an hour away. And yeah, again, the biker community just helped us out, and
they didn't have access to. I mean, this guy had a good workshop, but he didn't really have the specialist equipment for dealing with this. But they stripped my bike down. They got, because the head had damage then on it, the block. Is that what it's called? The head. Yep. So he literally gets sandpaper, and he's sitting there smoking a cigarette, and he's just sanding for hours, getting it down until he got it till it was pretty good. And then they put it all back, and it was enough to get us out of Angola. We had to get out because we only had so many days on our visa, and it was a country you don't want to overstay the visa.
Yeah, so
it's complicated.
It got us 2,000 kilometers. We got into Namibia. It went, but they used they set a second-hand gasket. I don't know where they got their gasket from, but it wasn't. And we were just told to just sit, and we were there. But you sit, you don't get involved. We'll take care of everything. And then of course at the end of it, when we go and try and pay, it's like, and they took us out for dinner. We did sneak off and pay the bill because we had to give back somehow. But it's just, it was amazing hospitality. But it's like that everywhere in the world. It's
but then we thought maybe we've used up all our luck. But then in Namibia, somebody had, sorry, this story's going on. Somebody had contacted us when we were in Morocco, a couple from South Africa, and they'd sort of followed us and sent us a message. Anyway, they were the only contact we now really had in South Africa. And we said, hey, can we get my bike shipped to your address? You know, the head gasket's gone, blah, blah, blah. We're going to need to get it fixed, but we're going to have to ride with the dogs on Stu's bike. Can you receive the bike for us? Because we can't get there quickly enough. Turned out this guy's a BMW mechanic, and he dropped everything for a week, and he really stripped my bike. He stripped my bike. We had to clean the bikes. He wouldn't touch them until they were clean. His name's Martin, and his wife's Dillian. And for a week, they looked after us, and they got my bike back to better than it had been in a few years, actually. Yeah.
That's an amazing story, and it's cool to hear that, like the worst mechanical part of it turns into like maybe some of the best hospitality and how they took care of you guys on that. There's always, I love to hear that type of stuff. There's so much bad that's in the world when you turn the news on and do this and do that, and you hear about, you guys have labeled and named off some countries where, over here in the United States, we hear we only hear this end of it, but you guys firsthand experience of like, no, there's good people, there's motorcycle people, there's animal people, and there's just the human aspect of people I absolutely love. And in the biker community, I don't know, I've never been able to like exactly pinpoint why that is, but we're just some very giving people. I don't know what it is about the bike people, but there's something about us. We can be tough, like beards and tattoos and the whole thing, but when it comes down to it, like really, we're some giving individuals. And I don't know, I've never been able to kind of make that like that tie, but I know that that's what it is.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what country you're in, what part of the world, it's
what bike you ride.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I'm I love the Harleys, but I can appreciate any type of machinery, and I can appreciate anybody that's sitting on two wheels, because the experience is the same, whether you're on a Harley or you're on a GS 650. The wind, the smell, all that stuff, all those senses, the experience is the same. And once you kind of get on that level of euphoria, it's hard to go back. You can't find it somewhere else, and that's why I keep going back to it, and that's why it is what it is for me, because I can't find that feeling with anything else that I do.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, it's one that nobody, if you don't ride a motorcycle, you'll never understand it really, you know. So, but I was looking, actually, Stu, you actually would you consider yourself a daredevil? I don't know. I was kind of just strumming through some of the Instagram stuff, and I was like, are you what? Because let me show you, and then you're gonna maybe say, yeah, a little bit. What is this right here, man? Looks like.
That's you can bungee jump off the bridge between Zimbabwe and Zambia over Victoria Falls. It's not actually over the falls, it's over the river, just downstream of the falls. But
the scariest part of this is the equipment that they use. I mean, there's a towel between your legs that they wrap strap around, and you can't really see it in that photo, but it works. And I was always thinking, well, the worst case is it was 111 meter bungee, I think. And the worst case is if it does break, it's going to slow me down enough, and then I'm landing in water. So I'll survive. Actually, the day before we did it, there was
no jagged rocks or anything hanging below you.
They apparently, it was about 2 years before I did this. The rope did break, and someone a lady landed in the water, but they got to her within 10 minutes or so, and because there isn't actually anything down below, there's no platforms or anything, but they got to her and they pulled her out. I think because it's at the bottom of Victoria Falls, at the top there's a lot of crocodiles and hippos, but any of them that get down to the bottom probably wouldn't survive going over the falls, but otherwise it's just too fast down there for there to be any life like that or anything dangerous. So yeah, I didn't think the risk was too high. But
this is beautiful, actually. This is the Victoria Falls that we're looking at here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we love these. We love the waterfalls. We've seen a few of the big ones. Victoria Falls, the Iguazu Falls in Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay. Yeah. And of course Niagara Falls in Canada. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, water is a very powerful object, especially when you see it moving like that. It kind of puts you in awe, like, wow, holy cow, that stuff is moving, you know?
Yeah.
Man, you guys have seen some really cool stuff. I'm just looking through your Instagram, kind of strumming through here. And I mean, look, you guys have zebras and giraffes, and you're bungee jumping in different countries and stuff. Like, I mean, this is, I would look at this. This is, I mean, Tropic of Capricorn. You guys have been to a lot of places and seen a lot of cool stuff. You guys have some memories, I'm sure, etched into your brain that no amount of words will be able to describe really some of the places you've seen and the things that you have come across and stuff. I commend you a lot for like going out there and saying, this is what we want to do, and kind of the following your dream aspect, or following like, this is what we want to do, and going for it, and then just figuring out how to make it work along the way. I think that's a quality that not obviously everybody has. It's a leap of faith, right? I mean, you gotta go, this is what we want to do, and we're going to figure out how to do it by whatever means necessary that means. And you guys have figured it out along the way to be able to fulfill this goal, this accomplishment, however you guys want to label it. And, beyond to be able to ride around the country with your dogs and stuff, that level of like aspiration, it's a different level. My hat's off to you guys. It's a really cool accomplishment that you guys are doing here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's really nice of you to say.
Yeah,
of course, and to do it with dogs, man. It's like traveling with about equivalent. Well, it's not, but it's kids. I have to compare it to my kids. That's all. You are traveling with 3 fur animal kids that rely on you. And you guys are pretty cool with that. That's pretty cool on your guys' part.
It does. It changes the trip a little, but it also means like they're our home away from home.
Yeah.
Always, like, having your dog with you, you just you never really feel alone. There's always somebody who's happy to see you and give you a cuddle. And
if we go out and do some sightseeing and we've left them in the hotel room, when we come back, we open up. It's like coming home. You've got
little
3
feet running everywhere.
Yeah, 3 wagging tails to come home to. So it really it makes it home. The dogs make our journey home. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I never get tired of that feeling every day when I come home with my animals. Like every day they hear my truck come home and they hear me parking in the front, and then when I come around in the back and they're the unconditional love, you're back, and they're just wagging their tail and licking you and just pushing up against you. That feeling never gets old. And the fact that you guys are traveling with your companions like that, that's real. I like to take my dogs as many places as I can. My wife is not so much, because it's a handful. It's a lot of work, but I like to take them everywhere. So that's a really cool thing that you guys are doing. And you guys have given them, I'm a huge, advocate for when it comes to dogs, that it's not always necessarily the length of life, it's the quality of life that you gave them in the time that you were their human, so to speak, and the places that you guys have taken them, the travels that you guys have done with them, I'm sure the comforting you've needed to do along the road and everything else that is combined with it. I would go out there and say you guys have given your fur animals, your fur family, a really good life up to this point, and I love that about it.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely, guys. So, well, hey guys, this was a really fun. I know you've been to 107 countries, and I'm sure we can sit here and probably talk all night long about all the different places that you guys have been. But I wanted people to hear your story. I wanted people to hear what you guys are doing and how you guys are traveling, the places that you guys have gone, because it's inspiring. It may not inspire everybody to get up on their motorcycle and just go and do what you're doing, but I love to share stories with people like this, because I would like for it to inspire them in some capacity, whatever that may be, whether it's going to start a business like you guys kind of did to fund your stuff, just get on your bike and travel, whatever inspiration people find. You guys are kind of the reasons that I like to talk to people and just share their stories. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and doing this.
Oh, this has been really fun. Thank you, Ray.
Absolutely. This is what motorcycle people do, right? It's no different than if you guys go and hang out like at an event or wherever you're at. The conversation is usually just fun, hang out, and that's what we do around here. So, Janelle, Stu, thank you guys very, very much for coming and hanging out with me. You guys are welcome to come out and hang out anytime. We will do this again. Maybe we reconnect when you guys get back into like Australia and you guys have kind of, finished off, and we can maybe recap your stuff. Definitely. Once you're on the podcast and you're here, your family with me. Now we got a tie. We will always have a connection.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Thank you. And of course, anything that I can share, please tag our page and let us know. I love to continue to help, get your guys' story and what you guys are doing, and take care of those dogs, treat them well, like I know that you do, and be safe out there on the road on your the last stretch of your adventure, I guess we can say.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. You guys have a good rest of the night, or I guess, what is it? It's morning over there, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the morning for us. Yeah.
Friday morning. Are you guys going to go do some riding, or what are you guys doing today?
Well, we're pulling the rear suspension out of my bike today and inspecting it, because it's been squeaking, making me a little bit nervous. So we're just going to have a look at the bearings, see if it just needs to be greased up or we need to replace any parts. That's today's job.
That's important. Yes, that's important.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have a good rest of the day. Thank you again very much for joining me and hanging out. and I will talk to you guys soon. All right.
Yeah. Bye. Bye, Ray.
Bye.
See you, Janelle. See you, Stu. All right, guys. There is Janelle. There's Stu. Amazing story. Good time with them. I'm jealous. If I gotta say, I'm a little jealous in that sense. I want to go be traveling. I want to have 107 countries underneath my belt as well. But I'm gonna keep traveling the United States. My hat's off to them. Go give them a follow. The Pack Track on Instagram is where you can give them a follow. Got some really cool videos, traveling some really cool places. So thank you guys again for joining. You guys know where to be every Thursday right here, YouTube Live. I got another guest next week as well, every single week. All right. So go follow the Instagram, go give the Pack Track a follow, and you guys have a good night. Later.